Wow, there we go. I always get caught up watching that, and then I forget that we're supposed to talk straight away afterwards. But it is welcome to the Arm Wrestling Tonight podcast. This is Hollywood Matt Connelly with the double biceps. There is one there. There is the second one. We're trying to get both on the same, just to prove that they are two different arms. I'm not using the same arm, running around myself and then presenting the same arm to you. As
this is not an optical illusion, folks. This is
it would be impressive if I could do that. There is two. There's one there, and there's the other one. But if you don't see that one, oh no, it's all right. Anyway, it's enough of that. Look out, the man on the screen to my left, but it could be to your right, depending on what sort of screen you are looking at. It is the co-founder, the co-host, the co-wearer of clothes, the co-breather of air in this very room. It is none other than the master of disaster, the king of sting, the count of Monte Cristo. It is Thunderlips, the ultimate male. It is the Siberian bull. He's going crazy over there today. It is the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year award, the illustrious award held by the illustrious man with the illustrious beard. It is your friend and mine. It is Dave Stockbridge. Welcome to your own show.
Well, thank you very much, Hollywood Matt Connelly. I would like to think it's our show, and not just our show, but a show that we share with the world each and every night here at Arm Wrestling Tonight. Thank you very much to everybody who's joining us once again. Hollywood Matt Connelly. Hot topic of conversation, of course, is the most recent release to have come out on the AWE Underground channel. We hope that Drew is in there very, very quickly to drop that link in the comments for us, because it is going off at the moment. I think we've got about 4,500 views in the first 16 to 18 hours of the release. So thank you to everybody who has jumped onto YouTube and has been checking that out. We also want to thank the over 100,000 people that have been visiting our Instagram page. We've only got about 2,100 followers on that page. To see that we've got 105,000 people traveling through that page, and it's all organic. We haven't paid a cent for that. We have no money, so that is what that is all just you guys spreading the word and talking about arm wrestling and involving AWE in the conversation. So thank you very much to everybody. We are in the wake of the AWE Grand Prix event. That means we are in release week now, and we have just had the Brett Coots versus Rickard Borman left hand AWE Heavyweight Championship belt video released. Hollywood Matt Connelly, how do you feel now that you can talk more openly about that video?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's such a amazing match, and the score really doesn't tell the story of the match. And it was a victory for Brett Coots. We have seen that, and it is live. It's on the channel. If you haven't seen it, too bad. Brett Coots is the winner. But you should go and watch the match, because it is a tremendous battle, an absolute war for every round. These guys were, I think the shortest round was like 25 seconds. They both battled back and forth with a lot of back pressure. Brett was able to utilize a press movement, and that was really the story of the match, was that Rickard would win the first third in his top roll. Brett would catch it, and he would bring the match horizontal, as opposed to keeping it very vertical. As soon as he had it horizontal and they were both stretched out like this, then he would just wait for his moment to come up and press down. So you could see him sort of getting better and better at that as the match went on. And but yeah, Rickard Borman, I don't think he had done a lot of training on his left in most recent times. He's very much focused on his right arm, as we've seen great success for him in international waters, not only beating legends like Don Hollywood Underwood, but also taking out the AWE Grand Prix 1 and 2 in the heavyweight division against some of the best guys that we could find in this region of the world. So he came into this match and probably a little bit of an underdog, because Brett Coots, as we know, absolute legend of Australian arm wrestling, has been around for 20 something years, and a monster of a man. I mean, the guy looks like he's chiseled out of stone. You know, he's like a carving. What is it? The Michelangelo's statue or something that he's come down.
Statue of David, I think.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So he's, graced us with his presence in a sense, to come and compete against the young superstar Rickard Borman. fantastic match. And yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, go and check it out. It's on AWE, the YouTube channel, and we're very, very happy with it.
Yeah, yeah, it came out spectacularly well, and it is great when you do, as promoters and people that are organizing these matches. The last thing you want is a whitewash, and especially when it is for a title belt, and it'd be nothing more, I guess, soul destroying for the other person on the end of a loss like that, and for the crowd that have, taken the time out of the day, put down their hard earned to be there. The room was at capacity; it was standing room only. As a matter of fact, one of the things I am disappointed about is that we just didn't capture the camera angle showing the other side of the room for whatever reason, but we did not have that angle where you could actually see. That's right, Taryn. So Michelangelo's David was based on Brett, indeed. I'm not suggesting for a moment that Brett is that old, by the way, but but yeah. So it is. Yeah, it was somewhat disappointing because the room was at capacity. The atmosphere was electric. There was a great deal of anticipation. This was a match that we thought we were going to see at Grand Prix 2, and then in that week leading into the event, Brett had sustained a couple of injuries, also caught a virus. It kind of upset his preparation. He was really hoping to take out that Grand Prix event and keep himself at least in the condition where he could get through that, but didn't know if he'd then have enough in the tank to then take on Rickard Borman on left. And as we know, Brett has been undefeated on left in this country for a very, very long time. And so there was that level of prestige that he didn't want to give away. And so, and at the end of the day, there wasn't, that was an interesting special effect. Wow. And at the end of the day, there wasn't the belt and the title on the line on that occasion. But Marcus Tirai stepped into the breach, jumped on the table with Rickett. They had a fantastic back and forth. It's a great match. You can go over to the AWE Underground channel and see that now as well. But what we really wanted to see was this match that is now before you and available on the AWE Underground channel. Rickard Borman versus Brett Coots. Brett Coots prepared himself beautifully for this event. A flawless preparation. He came into it as strong as he's ever been. He's 48 years old, never been defeated on left. He really brought his best form to the table, and that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see peak Brett Coots on the table, and not just for our sake as promoters and spectators, but really for his legacy. He has been the man to beat on left for a very, very long time, and we didn't want to see anything less than peak Brett Coots on the table for this title match. This was for the AWE heavyweight belt on left, and Rickard Borman already had the one on right. He was looking to add the second belt to his collection, and you can see it's a war. This was no easy win for the veteran, and for Rickard Borman, who hadn't prepared as well as he might have otherwise due to work commitments. He came back from South Africa, walked straight into a really busy period at work that took him further away from gym and his normal routine, which made it really difficult for him to really specialize. But he did say as well that that time away from the table and from the gym allowed him to heal and be in really good condition because so he was in South Africa. Of course, he was very active on the tables over there and taking on some of South Africa's best, and so he came back. He was very fresh. He felt good. He looked good, and he was obviously very, very strong because each and every round of that match was a war, was an absolute war. And Brett had to work very, very hard, often having to work himself back inside his shoulder to get into that position where he could press. But you think in this situation, it's Brett's experience that really paid dividends here. It wasn't just a raw strength exercise. As you mentioned at the top of the podcast, he was keeping the match in the area of his strength all the time. And so it's good to see we've got some ads on that video as well. I hope that converts into some YouTube rev, especially as people keep watching the match. So yeah, so great matchup, just a spectacular match to watch. If you just not just an arm wrestling fan, but a sports fan, there was a fantastic story here. There was the old lion. There was the young man on the scene, the rising star, the talk of the town, the man that has all the buzz and all the hype in the arm wrestling world at the tender age of 21 years old. Big, imposing, strong man, still with a big future ahead of him, looking to take the scalp of that guy that has been the man to beat for decades in this country. And yet it was the experienced man that prevailed, and Brett Coots walked away with the AWE left-hand heavyweight title belt across his shoulder.
Absolutely, yeah. What a match! And as you can see, I mean, we're quite a few minutes into the event here, so 8 minutes in, and they've only been through one round, which just shows you how long that round went on the table. Every round is very similar to that. Both guys so strong, so much power, and it really would have been quite interesting if Brett wasn't able to utilize a press. I don't know. I would probably still be sitting in that room watching the match take place right now.
Yeah, I got a feeling it'd just be both hanging off the end of the table like this, like that Indian guru whose arms are atrophied. That's what they both be like right now. Like that. But yeah, like you said, there was a pattern to this matchup, and you would think that Rika to take away from this as well is that if he can work his way around what seems to be Brett's only lane at this stage against Rika Foreman, if he has a workaround, or he can develop some type of response to Brett's move there, then that's going to keep him in good stead and put him in a position where he can once again challenge for the belt. It might be a little while before he gets that chance, of course. Brett will be coming back on right hand in June to contest the AWE Intercontinental belt, which is very, very exciting. So how much effort Brett will be putting into his left in the meantime, we don't know. There was a much hyped match that Brett was going to walk into after this event, but that I believe has now faded away, and so maybe Brett will just be putting the left on ice for a little while, letting it recover from this one, enjoy the well end glory of that heavyweight title belt across his shoulder, and ultimately come back bigger and stronger, focused with laser focus on his left in the latter part of this year.
Yeah, for sure. The great moments for me, seeing the excitement that Brett had towards this match, and then getting the victory. Because when we were doing the presentation of the belt and the medals and all the rest of it for the winner of this match, and you were calling out the winner with the microphone, and I was standing on stage to give the look on Brett's face when he was looking at that belt that I was about to hand over to him. He looked so happy. Like, it was just one of those moments where it was like, he really valued this moment, and it was fantastic to be there in person, to be actually the person that had the moment to share with him by giving him the actual belt. Yeah, what a fantastic day, and it couldn't have been a better match, really, in terms of the way it played out. I mean, both guys had wars the entire 4 rounds. There was never, you couldn't walk away going, oh, well, that was obviously a very dominant victory. It's like, no, it was a really tough fought match. Both guys were absolutely wrecked. Brett actually said he played a little bit of mind games throughout the match, which was quite interesting, that he was very fatigued. He said after the second round, he said, I was really fatigued. He goes, but I went and stood at the table first to get Rickard to come up. He goes, I saw Rickard was breathing real heavy, and he goes, and I'm trying not to breathe heavy. And I did catch you a couple of moments that, like, live. I don't know if it's on camera, but he sort of turned away and went And then like turned back and was like, yeah, yeah, everything's all good here.
And you did see Rick was during the course of this event. You could see that Rick was really stretching out the time between rounds, and any opportunity where there was a foul or a delay or a restart. It was Rick that was the one, the younger man that was the one that was taking that time, walking back over, re-chalking again, shaking out the arm, doing another lap of the table. And it was very much Brett that was there, that was pushing the pace and encouraging the match to continue on his terms. So that's a very interesting observation, Hollywood. I think maybe what we'll do is stop playing the whole match here and encourage everybody to go over to the YouTube channel, because without you guys going over there and supporting us on the AWE Underground channel, it becomes very difficult for us to put forward a compelling case to our sponsors and to let them know that these are matches that you want to see more of. And so you've heard a little bit about the results. You've heard a little bit about it, how we felt about that matchup, and we hope that you can head over to the channel and do us a favor and watch. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, like the other 4,000 people over there, if you could do that, that would be amazing. If you can like it, and if you can stay tuned and really enjoy that. It's a nice, neat, almost half hour of arm wrestling fun and entertainment, where you'll see two of the best people in the southern hemisphere that are active in the sport right now, contesting for that AWE heavyweight belt. It was a wonderful occasion. It was great to see Brett prevail and maintain his position at the top of the pecking order. And I'm sure at some stage there'll be some young fella come along and knock him off, but not this time. Brett is still the man. So we're so pleased that he is the first recipient of that title belt. It was a real honour for us to be able to bestow that upon Brett, and knowing that his legacy is now cemented in Australian arm wrestling folklore.
Absolutely, there you go. And we've also, on tomorrow night, we've got the drop of the AWE Grand Prix 3 85 kilo and under double elimination, invitation only 8-man tournament. And that going to see right here. You can see there it premieres in 26 hours. It will be 11 p.m. Adelaide time on Friday night, which is, I think, Friday morning in the United States. But yes, it will be up and running. We've got it all set. It is in the can and ready to go.
Absolutely, yeah. Premiering just in a matter of, well, what does that leave us with? About 27 hours. So if you do go over there and just click the notification bell, as soon as that video is ready to release, it will pop up and let you know. Of course, that was a hotly contested tournament, and first to pin, we saw some extraordinary talent emerge from that. There's always a surprise or two or three when we're talking AWE Grand Prix events. A few events ago, it was Rika Borman, the rise of Rika Borman. In this event, we saw some new names make their mark on the arm wrestling scene. Marty Penfold, surprising many with a great performance. He certainly enjoyed his moment there. Jacob Tuxworth, of course, who's been this. He's like the last samurai, isn't he? He's a very quiet. He's even got the man bun at the back
does,
there.
yeah.
So he's got that look about him. He's just he's just quietly going about his business, just methodically, just improving incrementally, bit by bit, day by day, stepping further and further closer to greatness. He's so unassuming. 14-inch arms, biceps, 14-inch forearms. The smallest arms in the event, and yet performed admirably. Did a fantastic fantastic job. In some rounds, he was absolutely unassailable and dominant. Taron Broad in a spectacular war with Zhu Jiyu, Zhu hailing from Singapore, Singapore's #1 gun at the moment, made his way over here, and we weren't sure where the level was at with Singapore and our Southeast Asian friends, and we can tell you it's exceptionally high. That young man, my goodness, not only a spectacular arm wrestler, but very polite, fantastic sportsman, great to work with, a fantastic ambassador for his country and for our sport. And along with Greg Yo, who plays that same role and was out over at East versus West on the weekend, and just fantastic ambassadors for the region, and just doing a fantastic job flying the flag for their countrymen and for the sport. And such a wonderful young man, and wow, what a phenomenal young arm wrestler with a big future. Only 21 years old. He's just served 2 years of national service in the Singaporean Army. He's about to start university, and he's well on the path to being a great international arm wrestler. And he's a name you're going to see a lot more of. It's absolutely freakish that you've got these young guys like Rickard Baumann and Zhu Jiyu, and just rising through the ranks, and young Jacob Tuxworth, just spectacular. And then we can't go too far without talking about the X Factor Nick Vella, who was the wild card entry into this event. Man wasn't even meant to be there. Turns up, goes straight through Josh Barker in a complete upset early on in the tournament, which really did throw a cat amongst the pigeons early. And the other thing I want people to really note about this event is how Josh Barker has developed his game. And I would have thought Josh would just be coming in with that lightning fast press, just flash pinning everyone. He really did think a lot about each and every competitor that he was going to be across the table from, and had a game plan for all of them. And even and there was a moment with Zhu, for instance, where he full starts with the press. And we went, oh, well, Josh has gone back to his old plans. You can see Drew going, okay, well, I know where this is coming next, and kind of almost make a subtle adjustment in the setup. And then, of course, he comes straight back out the top. And you can see that Josh Barker has now, he's got that beautiful blend of youth and experience now, where he's still, I think he's only 27 years old. But he's been around the scene for a long time. He's been at the top of the 70 kilo guys for a long time. And this was him really stepping up a couple of weight categories to compete at 85 kilos. And I don't think he quite got there either. I think it was 82, 83 kilos in the end, but it was the biggest, baddest version of Josh Barker we have ever seen. And Josh really presented himself as an exceptionally thoughtful, considered and well-rounded arm wrestler, and we thought he was quite one-dimensional, and we also thought that was exactly how he could win. And yet Josh had gone one or two steps further in the 3D chess, and had played it out in his mind. And even though he had some hiccups early on, he came back and kept executing on that strategy. And it really did show you all the tools that Josh has got in the toolbox, in the kit, and he was willing to bring them out depending on what the job was in front of him. And I thought that was just amazing. I just really want to acknowledge Josh's table IQ and thoughtfulness, because it's really hard in a first to pin tournament to really think things through that much. And Josh obviously had, and all credit to Josh. Taron Broad, I mean, he got caught up in war after war and sustained an early injury, and could have easily just given it away straight after. The injury comes in his first matchup with Zhu, I believe, and it meant that he just could not get any cup. And we know that Taron's cup is phenomenal, but we also know he really relies on that with his hook. That really is his signature, and yet he could not get that. But he was just applying immense amount of side pressure with a flat hand, and on a couple of occasions with some really dramatic surges, was able to win over rounds that really he was on the brink of losing. So showed an enormous amount of heart in competing with injury, pushing through and still performing exceptionally well. And for the first time, performing with that pressure of being the number one seed. And we thought that might be Taryn's Achilles heel coming into an event, that maybe, the pressure of an expectation would be too much. But it certainly was not. He carried it through, and in a crowd that also included his parents and friends, and in front of his club. He was the hometown hero on the day, and he proved to everybody why he should be acknowledged as not just the number one arm wrestler in the state, but certainly should still be considered one of the very top guys in arm wrestling under 90 kilos in the country, and maybe even beyond. He's a phenomenal talent, and the best is yet to come for Taryn Broad as well. So there were so many highlights. There was so much that we could get into, and I guess if we really got into the big highlights, we might be giving it a little bit too much away. And we'd really love for you to be heading over there to the AWE Underground channel and just please press that notification button. Make sure that you are amongst the first to have your phone vibrate in your pocket the moment that release premieres, and that will be happening sometime very, very soon in the next 27 or so hours.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you've covered it tremendously there. Yes, the Josh Barker strategy change ups, Taryn Broad's amazing comeback in the Jew match. I mean, we don't want to give it all away, but there's so many moments in that, and this is what's fun about these tournaments that we put on. It never goes the way you would think it would. You can look at the brackets and go, yeah, I'm pretty sure it should play out this way. And it does not at all. Like from the first bracket, it's like you've got upset there, and that just changes everything. Incredible. And
absolutely incredible. And it really did show how evenly matched that 80 kilo tournament was. That 80 kilo bracket now is so hotly contested. You kind of get this, and what it does actually is open up now a Pandora's box of super matches to really establish that pecking order, because it is one of the fun things about these AWE events. Like these are not super matches. They don't negatively affect anybody's ability to be able to get a top level international match. All of these guys are world class. They're fantastic young athletes, and what happens in the moment. We all know as arm wrestlers that the setup is so critical, and millimeters make differences, and all of that type of thing. We also know, some guys are just fantastically quick off the start, and that's such a huge advantage in tournament play. So we also know that if this was a super match that there might have been different results, and so that's the wonderful thing. It really does open up a Pandora's box of opportunity for all of those athletes that competed at that tournament. But importantly, it does not harm any of their opportunities, both here in Australia and overseas. So Hollywood Matt Connelly, we're at the 28-minute mark. Should we just go to the comments now and say good day to the people?
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, we had a hotly contested who's going to be the first person to put the comment up, and it was won by none other than French McGee, the siren singing arm wrestler. She says, "Evening, Drew has hit it about a fraction of a second later," and then he was very upset. He said, "No." I did like this clap back from French here. What are you going to do about it, Drew? And he says, "Pout." So that's fantastic. Lagier is here as well. Hello to you, sir. A nice little H comment. It's always good just to know that you're here. So even if you don't want to have a comment, but you can just say hello, basically, which is great for us to see. Who else have we got here? Taryn Broad is in. He did have this classic comment here that Michelangelo's David was based on Brett Coots. Yeah, possibly. Intrinsic Media, Chris, who filmed the event, did the whole production side of things, did a tremendous job. I still have his cable, his $5,000 extension cord. It's in my car. Yes, I will get it back to you. If you live so far away, Chris, why do you have to live so far away? And the Drew helping us out here with the Underground channel. Thank you for that, sir. That is it there. That is where you will find not only the left-handed match, which is available right now. You can go over there and check that out with Brett Coots and Ricky de Bornman on the left hand. But we will tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Adelaide time, 26 hours from now, you'll see the AWE 3 Grand Prix will take place on the channel as well. We had a question here about Lachlan Adair, which I think I responded to a couple of times in the comments here. He is tied up with his contract. We can't really go around that. That's his thing. Carl Davison is here.
And just on that, I just want to expound upon that for a moment. We have had the comments about Rickett versus Lachlan on right hand. We've had people say, why aren't you doing that? They may have seen, and there may be some confusion there, because Lachlan, of course, competed at AWE 2. And if people kind of cast their mind back, it was straight after AWE 2, that exclusive contract. So Todd Hutchings jumped off the plane. Engen got a contract in front of him straight away, and that kicked off. I think there might have been a repaired snowmobile. I think Engen repaired the broken down snowmobile of Todd Hutchins, rode it to the airport when Todd stepped off the plane. And because Todd only flies private, of course, it would have been like a separate airfield. And so essentially, if you imagine Engen just pulling up on the snowmobile right up at the base of the stairs, and would have, and Todd was immediately, from all reports, very impressed, just to see. I mean, you can imagine, Todd never thought he was going to see that snowmobile ever again. He never thought it was. He thought that was it, or he might have thought, maybe I can fix it, but I'll have to get around to it. It's the middle of winter. What am I going to do? So anyway, to see Engen turn up on that, just right up, gliding to the base of the stairwell of that private Learjet, and then, of course, Todd would have looked at that and been exceptionally impressed. Engen, I didn't know you were mechanically minded. How did you get here? This is amazing. This is a long way to come from Turkey. Todd, what are you? I do this because I love you. By the way, exclusive contract. Fuck AWE. Give me that belt back. I'm going to melt it and make more parts for your beautiful snowmobile. And we haven't seen the belt since. That's the AWE Intercontinental belt. Has been melted down and is now used as for whatever spare part might be required for the snowmobile. And so that kicked off that whole controversy, and so that, hence the confusion. Now, Lachlan is Australia's number one, is regarded as Australia's number one. He does have that oceanic title, and there is a small chance of him being able to defend that title, whatever that title might mean and how that works, but it is not an AWE title. So but what it does, I think, mean also is that Lachlan is flying the flag for Australia at the premier promotion in the world. And that is his rightful place. He is a fantastic athlete. He's got a huge future. And I would like to see East versus West really feature him towards the top of more cards more often. I think all fans of Australian arm wrestling want to see exactly that. They want to see the best athletes performing in front of the bright lights and on the biggest stages. That's what we want to see for Lachlan Adair. it'd be selfish of us to pull Lachlan away from those opportunities or to jeopardize his chances of enjoying more of that. And so, as gratifying as it is, and as nice as it might be for people to say, "Hey, you've got to get Lockie versus so and so, or Lockie versus Brett now, whatever," it doesn't really answer any questions that are going to advance Lachlan Adair's career at this point in time. So I just wanted to address that, particularly around the snowmobile issue.
Yeah, that was the important highlight there. You saw the look on my face when you said it, and I was trying to keep it straight, and I was like, "Ah, he's going with it." Oh, I love that story. Yes, the snowmobile. I could just picture, that meme, and it's from Mean Girls. And it's like, "Get in, losers, we're going shopping." Get in, the losers, we're going shopping.
Yeah, I mean, and Todd, I mean, awkwardly, had to be ridden back home on the back. Engen wouldn't let him ride his own snowmobile, of course.
No.
So it was no. If I'm on,
you relax, I do it. You have long journey. I know what to do now.
And the airport's about 150 or so miles away from Todd's house, so it would have been a very uncomfortable journey. But anyway, they obviously grew closer as a result of that journey, and they're very, very, very good friends.
Yeah, that's right. They talked about the first thing that popped up. So Kyle Davison is in as well. He says in Saturday, let's go. Taryn Broad likes the thumbnail for the AWE3 Grand Prix, which
very sexy man.
Oh
yes. Well, and Taryn, if you want to know a bit of the backstory on that, the photographer for the event was Bill, who you might have seen. I just reached out to him and said, "Oh, look, we're after the best action shot that you've got for a thumbnail for our video." And he said, "I really haven't had a chance to look through it, but I'm going to jump on it now, and I'm going to have a look through all the footage. I was hoping to get it all back to you this weekend." So anyway, he's jumped on and he's just scanned through it all, and he's gone, "That was the one that stuck out to me." He said that was like a fantastic, like, just to me, there was the shot that encapsulated the event, the intensity of the event, and I couldn't agree with Bill any more than that. So yeah. So that's why there's a little backstory there to it, Taryn. You brought the intensity.
There you go. That is the thumbnail there that he's referring to. I believe he's probably liking it because it's him in the picture.
Oh, is that the thumbnail? Oh, there's another one that features you. It's a bit better than that, actually.
Yeah. There's two. There's this one here.
An updated thumbnail sometime in the next 12 hours, I believe. But it also features you, Taryn. So, and we want to thank Bill Pierce for that in advance. So, did a wonderful job on the day.
That's right. Yeah, I believe he was referring to the one that's currently here because he is the very center of the picture. It's his name that's the back. So I think that's what he was like. He's very happy with that.
Well, having been privy to seeing what the actual thumbnail will be, I think Taryn will be even more impressed. It's probably a photo of a few moments after this particular moment.
Absolutely.
Used moment twice in a very short period of time, but
in the one moment.
French
McGee says that she can't wait till there's enough women to do a women's Grand Prix.
Yeah, that'd be really good. That'd be really good. Just like women's soccer, that'd be awesome.
Would be tremendous if we can get. I think we've covered this a couple of times, but the growth of women's arm wrestling, I think, will come naturally as the sport itself grows.
Yeah. I think that's what happens, and yeah, it would be great to see more women embrace the sport. And I think it's the case for most. Look, you've got most physical endeavors. Women aren't as active, but when it comes down to combat and strength sports, even less so. And so we're really dealing with a much smaller pool of people. It was really interesting. We had one of Australia's best up and coming strong women there at the event and enjoying the atmosphere in the after pool, and jumped on the table with France as well. We won't mention her name because her coach was also there and is a little bit concerned that she might actually fall in love with the sport of arm wrestling and be lost forever. She and straight away, picked up the technique and had a lot of strength. I think that's probably where we're going to find our women, those women that are already active in that combat and strength sport world, much like France McGee, for instance, who's got that background in BJJ and has spent a lot of time around MMA and those types of that culture. It's going to be a hard time for us recruiting from that pool of people, but I think that's really where our next generation of arm wrestling women are going to come from.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. But we've hit the half an hour mark here. Actually, we've gone up to 40 minutes. We extended the snowmobile story just for you guys because we like you so much.
It was worth it though.
Oh no, there he is. He's gone into the dark mode. When the light goes down, it's serious business time. It's like whenever we do a business meeting. It's like Ryan and Matt, I need to talk to you. It's like
we need to talk.
Yes, this is the come to Jesus meeting moment. Fantastic to see everyone in the comments there. Final thoughts, Dave Stockbridge.
Final thoughts are this. I want to thank everybody who was there on the day, the SA Titans that came out and supported the event in force on the day. I want to thank all of the athletes who were an absolute pleasure to work with, who were utter professionals, who did their absolute best, and they gave their all, gave no excuses whatsoever. Even those that developed injuries like Taryn Broad early on, who were able to fight their way through. There were no excuses on the day. Everybody had a great time. I want to thank you, Hollywood, for all of your efforts, of course, in bringing this whole event together. Ryan for his work as well, and ultimately, all the people that join us in the comments and that have been jumping onto our social media channels, to see that we're now attracting 100,000 views on our Instagram is huge. At the start of this year, it was in the thousands. When I talk thousands, 1 or 2 or 3,000, and then it slowly been growing and growing and growing. And a week before the event was at about 63, 64,000, and now we're 40% higher than that after the event. So the hype that the event itself has lent to the AWE brand has been amazing. We want to thank all of the athletes for what they've done in terms of sharing the posts and becoming engaged with us and what we're doing. And it's just now meaning that we are a more attractive proposition for mainstream sponsors. And what that means ultimately is that we can now attract the investment into the sport that we need in order to truly reach our goal, which is to make arm wrestling a professional endeavor for those athletes that want to pursue it. And so to everybody that's making that possible for us here at AWA, I want to say thank you very much. And we can't wait to share with you what's coming next, because there's a lot coming next. So 2025 is absolutely huge, and we've got big plans, big announcements to make with respect to our upcoming event in June, October, May. We've of course already announced the super match between Tyler Harrison and Alex McKinnon. There will be more announcements around that event as well, along with how you can buy tickets to be in the room and live. So thank you to everybody, and we can't wait for 2025.
You said it perfectly, my friend. And Dave Stockbridge there, being very humble, not thanking himself. But
I'd like to thank myself and Engen, especially.
Yeah. Well, free snowmobiles for all.
If we can do a photo together, I'd just like to. If you can just not say cheese, but if you can just say Engen, that'd be really good. Can we do that just before we go away? Just
sure.
No, because that would be a fucking terrible idea. That would be.
And you get a snowmobile, yeah, so it's fantastic. Dave Stockbridge doing tremendous efforts daily. This man is working feverishly with people all around the world, from the most. I'm in chat groups with people. I'm like, why is this? The Falkland Islands arm wrestling people. So there is a lot of
living in the Falkland Islands.
It is. It's a difficult thing. But a lot of things coming up for 2025 for AWE. The main reason that is all happening is because of the man on the screen right now. That is not me.
Hollywood Matt Connelly.
No. All right, guys, we'll end it there before we continue to roll into another series of jokes. All right, let me put up the thing, and thank you everyone for watching.
Here we go.